Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. This is The Branson View, a show that celebrates true stories of life and business from America's heartland. Join us each week in the pursuit of freedom, truth, and courage that inspires us to take action. Let's get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so excited to introduce all of our guests today, Steve and Zaklina Bailey, Dr. Ralph, and Miss Charlotte Watts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us on this. We are so excited and delighted to be here. So many qualified, strong leaders on here. And again, thank you so much for having us.
It's so awesome to have us all here. And I think today's topic is so important, especially as we embark on this new year and thinking about where we've been over the past couple of years. I know that we've tried to set goals and we've tried to have plans. And honestly, some of them came to fruition and some of them were definitely a challenge to achieve in the environment that we've lived in over the course of the last, 24 months. But this team right here, Miss Charlotte, Dr. Ralph, and Steve and Zaklina, I think that you guys all just have done tremendous, in the face of things that we've been able to overcome and obstacles. So I'm delighted to have you on the show today and talk about the importance, benefits, and value of setting goals. So one question I wanted to direct to Zaklina, and I just wanted to ask you, how does goal setting motivate us to develop those strategies that enabled you to perform at the level that was required by the goals that you set?
Yeah, it's, thank you so much. Yeah, it was an amazing 2021 year. Every year we always try to level up, get to the next level. I feel being in the sales business and entrepreneurial business, it's hard to not compare and compete with others. And what I've always focused on is not to compete with others, but only compete with myself. And so I just really set the bar high for myself and just keep my goals private. I don't really announce it. I really keep it to myself. And I just feel like when you perform in private and then the numbers speak for themselves. So, because otherwise it's like no one's going to cheer you on for your goals because it's not theirs, it's yours. It's a personal thing. The moment you start to share with others, you're not going to exactly have a whole support system. Everyone's going to want to challenge you to see you not achieve it. So I like to be private about it. Mm-hmm. So I keep it to myself. But the way I do set my goals, though, it's a big deal for me. It's not just a once a year thing, although this is my favorite time of the year. January is my favorite time because I really do set some intentions on what I hope to achieve, not just financially, not just in business, but in personal. Steve and I, we've just have amazing people, important people in our life, our parents and family members that have passed away. And it's really taught us a life lesson that life is short. So we have a bucket list in all areas of our life. And I feel that when you do set goals for the year and you think about everything else outside of business, family, health, happiness, spiritual, of course, your finances, there's so many areas of goal setting. But just saying that you have a goal, this is my goal to, let's just say, make a certain amount of income. This is what I want to make for the year. If we're going to talk about business, I want to make this certain amount of income. What I like to do at the beginning of the year is break down what would I need to make on a monthly, what would I need to make on a weekly, what would I need to make on a daily. And so what kind of sales do I need to achieve to get to that goal? And so I'm truly intentional about all of that. I really do the math and then I break it down. But having balance in life of goals outside of work takes pressure outside of that work. What I mean by that is that when life goals outside of work are accomplished, where quality time with my husband, quality time with the children, quality time with friends, getting to eat well and working out, we're saving finances. I just think about in my spiritual, I just think about all other areas of life so that it doesn't put too much pressure on the income part. I think sometimes we just put too much pressure on ourselves and there's no balance to find happiness and joy in other areas of life. So, the saying is that when you set a goal, goals tell your future in advance, and a goal with a plan is success, but without a plan, it's just a dream. And I really think you got to write it down. I mean, that's kind of what I've learned to do. I always feel that before you set goals, you need to do an appreciation list first. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you've achieved. Be grateful for just everything that you've been blessed with in your life. And when you start with an attitude of gratitude, it's a lot easier to set for your goals and then start with your goal list. And it just sets the stage and you just see the true blessings that have already happened, and it just continues to happen from there.
Right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Jackie, for sharing that. And it's just really exciting to see such an alignment of those goals with, what you are talking about, your priorities and your family, and not just having them be a monetary type situation, but having them encompass, your whole life. So thank you so much for sharing that. I love this team right here because we all are in like different phases of life. And I know I'm in a different phase of life than maybe Dr. Ralph or Jackie and Steve, or even Miss Charlotte. So I think it's nice to have a perspective from, people who have experienced different things and are in different seasons of life. Miss Charlotte, what do you think about goal setting, motivation, and how it helps us to develop those strategies?
Well, Tammy, I mean, that's a conversation that could go on for years, but I just want to say, Jackie hit so many things perfect when she said it. But whenever I think about goal setting and in working with people over the last 30 or 40 years, one thing that I do know is sometimes we spend more time planning our vacation than we do planning our goals. And then I think too, a lot of times you watch people when they're setting goals, if it's not believable to them, but they're still putting it on there that it's a wish or a dream, or if it's not something that's exciting to them, then they're never going to accomplish it. I think we need to set goals in different areas. I think, for me personally, I set business goals, I set personal goals, and I set time with God, because that relationship, the goals that I have to honor Him, is really important to me. And one of the things that I add to that list every year is that Proverbs is my book of, I call it my book of reasoning. So every year I start on January the 1st and I read a chapter a day, and I do that every month for the entire year. And it's amazing how no matter how many times you read it, you learn something new out of it. But when goal setting doesn't work, then I think we need to go back and look at why. Was it really a goal or was it a dream? And, a dream is where you start. You got to start with your why. And as Jackie said, that bucket list is so important, because without that, you really have no way to begin. And it's kind of like, if I got in my car, it's going to be pretty hard for me to pull out of the driveway and figure out how to get there. So I think before you start, you have to look at where you are. Where am I starting from?
Right.
And then you can put it in the GPS, which is basically what you're doing, and saying, okay, here's where I want to be in 12 months. A goal really, I think part of the reason some people just don't set them is that they feel like they will fail if they don't accomplish them.
Mm-hmm.
A goal is not something that's to be accomplished. It's something that's going to be continuing year after year after year after year. You will achieve some of the things on that list. You're going to increase some of the things on that list to make them even bigger than what they were. But you have to be willing to adjust that the same way if you're on a trip and you have a flat tire, you're going to have to adjust your schedule. If you see something interesting and you pull off the exit, you may take a few minutes to look at it. But I think goals, when you set them, I think you have to be willing to go back and evaluate, look at what you accomplished, look at what you didn't, and then look at the reason why. Because sometimes the why is just that it really wasn't that important to us. So if I had to add anything to what Miss Jackie said, it would just be, look at the ways to make your goals work for you. Look at the time that you're spending on them. Make sure that they're specific. And like she said, if it's not written down, then you're really not serious about it. And I can tell you, anything that I've written down that I was serious about, I had to go back and I had to look at it day after day after day and reevaluate and make some changes, make some adjustments. But if I truly believed it was going to happen and I truly had my focus set on it, whether it was a day or a month or a year or 5 years, every day I believed that it was going to happen. It was going to be a reality in my life. And I can tell you, because of that, so many things have come true that I would have never, ever had happen had I not written them down, had the vision, had the ability to move forward on those. And, it's just taking action. Bottom line is we just have to make an action move. And again, I think Jackie hit everything on the head. What she said is so perfect. And I do think, as far as sharing your goals, I think that there are a lot of them that you do hold private, and in your heart. Part of them are between you and God. But I do think sometimes if you share with someone, then when you have one of those days that things just don't seem to be going right, if you've got a sounding board, someone that you really trust and they love you and they have your best interest at heart, sharing that sometimes will open a door or a window where you can see maybe a little bit more than you could on your own. So again, I think that we have to have goals in different areas of our life, and I think our focus and our action is what's going to take us there.
Oh, well said, Miss Charlotte. Thank you so much. While you were speaking, I was just reminded that I had a goal this year in 2022 to run a half marathon. And Jackie, you may laugh at this too, because I shared it with my coach and my trainer, and he was like, "That's awesome. That is an awesome, awesome goal. But why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you be consistent in running the 5K every day?" So exactly what you said, Miss Charlotte. It can be a goal. It can be a dream, but you honestly have to make sure that you have those smaller sub goals. Maybe they're a daily or monthly goal where you are reaching toward the ultimate 12-month goal situation, so that you don't just, and they have to be measured, right? You can't just show up and run a half marathon unless you unless you want to be in some pain. But it also reminded me of something I read. The Bible teaches about two extremes: never setting goals and then setting goals with no thought of God. A balanced alternative is found in James 4:15. That says, instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and we will do this or we will do that. And it's good to make plans. It's great to have goals. But like you said, Charlotte, making sure that we're checking in with God to make sure that those goals are a part of His divine will and things that He wants for us. And you talked about Proverbs and reading that chapter a day in the book of Proverbs. And Proverbs 16:9 says, in his heart, a man plans his course, but it is the Lord that determines his steps. So I think it is important to know that, no matter where we are in life, that we can definitely have goals and set those intentions and make those plans. And, in doing so, being very prayerful as the direction that God has for our life. So thank you so much for sharing that. Dr. Ralph, did you want to chime in here?
I think the only thing that I could add to that, and it's what I say around my house, because I, have 4 daughters and a wife, and then these ladies were absolutely correct in everything that they said. And from my perspective, I when I look at goal setting and things like that, I begin with the end in mind, and then I reverse engineer that process. And the reason I do that is simply because it gives me the actions that I need to take on a daily that are going to get me closer to that singleness of purpose, that idea of where I want to be, and understanding that along the way, I'm going to make some ebbs and flows, and I'm going to make some adjustments, course corrections along the way, and being open to be able to do that, simply because I've learned if you're too rigid in your approach, you'll get disappointed. If you're too lackadaisical in your approach, you'll be disappointed. But if you have a level of flexibility that allows for your course corrections, the only outcome is that success is going to be the reason, and success is going to be the byproduct of doing the work every single day and just serving the work. And when I say serving the work, to me, the work is Tammy, what you just said. It's serving God first, God, family, and for me, the community around me. And, it's just so effective that when you have that singleness of purpose and that direction, that it really is the roadmap, and not that it's the hard lines, but it's really in the curves and the banks where we find them, the magic in everything that we do. And always in achieving a goal, it's always important to remember the process, to trust the process, and most importantly, enjoy the process, because it is an unfolding of God's work through you. And that's how I do it. That's what I've done for the last 24 years in chiropractic. When I was in the military, I used these same principles that have gotten me through some pretty hard, unexpected corners. So that's all I have to add to it. You ladies did an amazing job. I don't know what Steve can add to it. He probably should just kind of say Jackie said everything correctly, and then that's it.
Well, here's what I can add, Dr. Ralph. If I'm going to be last, that ain't happening again, Tammy. Forget that. Are you kidding me right now? How do you follow Miss Bailey, Miss Charlotte, and Dr. Ralph? What do I got left to say? You kidding me right now?
Go ahead.
You got to have the people that are not the smartest first. So next time, put me first, okay?
I hear you, Coach Bailey. Hey, you know what? I will say this. Going back to Jackie, Charlotte, Dr. Ralph, setting a goal actually does help you become the person that is able to achieve that goal.
Okay, I don't want to have to follow you two. So let me just chime in here a minute. You know what I'm saying? I am the dumbest one on this call.
No,
so
you are not.
He's sandbagging.
He's sandbagging. He's sandbagging, Miss Jackie. He's super smart.
Kidding me right now. So here, I'm going to go back to this and chime in just a minute and give you my 2 cents, because that's about what I got here is 2 cents. Okay. So everything y'all said was just so on the money. I was making notes on a sheet of paper here, and my wife, Charlotte, Dr. Ralph, and I ain't letting you speak because you would cover all the notes, but everybody covered everything I already had here, except we go back to the movie, What About Bob? Baby steps, Bob. You just take baby steps every day. Doc said it, a daily routine with consistency, and just do right. We start our days with bookends, right? Prayers in the mornings, prayers in the night with our kids. It's gratitude. So of gratitude and praying for those things and people that need it. And we are just so thankful and grateful for all the blessings that he's provided. So again, if you get off track and you cannot achieve these goals on a daily win, you know what your end in mind is, you know what your bucket list is, but there's going to be daily distractions. There's going to be things that kick you in the teeth that get you off track. So you just need to be able to go find a happy place in your personal life that puts you back in that mindset of where you want to be, where you can find your own personal joy. So you continue this long life journey of where you want to be with your end in mind. And it's all in God's plans. And I'm sorry for interrupting you. And it is great to have ladies first, but not in this type of setting anymore.
Oh,
back
absolutely. To you. Well, I did want to share this because this is the power of writing it down. The power of writing down your goals is so super important. And they may not come into realization in the timing that you thought or that you wanted. But if it is God's will and you prayed about it and you wrote it down, you can know that God has it, right? I wrote down some goals literally in 2016. It was April the 16th in 2016. And I know this because I went back through and I'm setting my goals for 2022. And I'm looking back through all the years and things that I was able to mark off the list and celebrate and, milestones and achievements and so forth. And on this list is real estate land development. I just looked at that about a week ago, and I thought, wow, God, it's definitely not my timing, but yours. So I just want to encourage our listeners, if you've been setting goals for years and maybe you are a little discouraged or you haven't been able to accomplish everything that's on your list, I just encourage you to keep going, keep writing the list, make baby steps. It may not happen exactly when and how you thought it was going to happen, but if it's something that the Lord has dropped in your heart, it's something that He has a purpose for you to do in this earth, then you're not by yourself, and He's going to help you to bring that into fruition.
I was going to say, I got a real life example of what we're talking about. And as you were just talking, like when you said you pulled something up and it said land development, when I was in chiropractic school, I was in chiropractic school and I was listening to someone talking about goal setting, and I wrote on an index card, I wanted to live in a house overlooking a lake. I wanted my kids to go to private school. I wanted to have a practice that was fulfilling my lifestyle of passionate living. And I wanted to be a happy, healthy, successful representation of all of that. And I wrote that on an index card. I put it in it was in my briefcase. I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Branson, Missouri. And one day I was in my office and I found this briefcase and I opened it up and I was going through it. And there's all my chiropractic school stuff in there. And I reached into this little pocket and I felt something in there. I pulled the index card out and it was a list of those things. Okay. Here was the interesting thing. I had a house in Emerald Point here in Branson, Missouri, overlooking the lake. My kids were not only going to a private school, I was on the board of that private school. I not only had my own practice, but it was what it was. It was successful. It was fulfilling my lifestyle. It allowed me the time freedom to do the things that I wanted to do with my kids, to be at their ball games, to be at their Thanksgiving Day programs and all of those things. I had not looked at that card since I was in chiropractic school. And when I found the card, it was in 2006. And I had not looked at the card before that since probably 1995, 96,
Wow.
something like that. So I had set those goals even before I graduated from chiropractic school, and they made manifest themselves halfway across the country in a little town in the middle of the United States, the heartland of America, where we're coming from. And all of those things showed up for me. And I never knew anything about Table Rock Lake when I wrote I wanted a house on a hill overlooking a lake. That happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Boom.
That's amazing. Amazing. Tammy, I would also add too, if it's okay, if I can just chime something in really quick.
Absolutely.
For us, when I say about writing a bucket list down, when we're having a hard day, Steve knows, if I'm having a hard day at the office and I come home from work, the family knows because it's right away like, come on, let's go. We're going out. We're going to go do something. Like I need to change my state. I can't be in a slump. I can't think bad thoughts. It has to be happy, happy, happy. And, when you're happy, great, you're grateful and you're grateful to God for the good and the bad. So when there's bad and there's good, no matter what happens, always keep in mind it's a lesson and a blessing. So if something bad happens, learn a lesson from it. And it's a blessing that it happened because it's only going to make you stronger and also see why you want what you want even more and you'll work harder for it. So, but to change your state of mind, having a bucket list can change your state of mind. And so if you, like on my social media platforms, if I'm ever posting moments with our family and things that we're doing, a lot of times it was because I had a hard day. And that's where I had to change my state and I had to be grateful that, you know what, it was a hard day, but hey, I'm grateful because we're alive, we're healthy, we're blessed. We're safe, we're fed, things are good. It's not that bad. It's going to change. Tomorrow's a new day. So go on to celebrate the moment, celebrate life and celebrate your blessings and what you appreciate. Have a bucket list and change your state. So go do something fun and just enjoy the moment and just celebrate the wins. And the way to do that is spend time with people. So,
oh, absolutely. You are going to have ups and downs and things are, that's part of life, but not allowing that to keep you down, I think is really a testimony to what you've, Jackie, what you've been able to achieve this year. So thank you so much for sharing that.
One of the things that I try to do every day, and, we've got goals for every day, but if you wake up every morning and you're reviewing them, and then every night before you go to bed, be thankful for what you've accomplished. Look at maybe some of the reasons you didn't accomplish it and how you can move it forward. But I think sometimes we forget to set the activity goals. We set production goals, but we forget to set an activity goal to go along with that.
Yeah, that's smart.
Well said, Charlotte. Well said.
If you don't mind, I know a lot of our listeners are asking for practicality and also how to. I mean, how would you? Let's just give an example of maybe a fitness goal, just because I kind of threw that out there. So I have a goal of running a half marathon by May of 2022. So in order for me to do that, I need to be consistently able to run a 5K daily. And in able to do that, So if I break that down into an activity goal, then I have to map out the steps. I have to map out the nutrition, the water, the endurance. I have to map out, specific things. So if somebody else wants to kind of give an example of a lead measure and a lag measure. So if you're setting a goal, you may or may not know the activity that you need to generate in order to achieve that goal.
So Tammy, you're talking about that marathon of 22 miles?
I said half, man. That's 13.
Oh, 13 miles? Okay, well, that's a fantastic goal for you, not for me. So my wife wants to chime in on that. So good luck with that goal, because I'm out.
Well, and here, Jackie, I didn't keep it a secret. So if I don't achieve it, I'm not going to beat myself up.
Hey, and it's okay, because it's safe to tell your goals to people that are cheering you on, and we are all cheering you on.
We are cheering you on.
That's amazing. So happy for it. But I understand where you're coming from, because I'm doing the same thing with myself, not for running, but for working out. And it's I want to feel and look a certain way in the next 6 months too. And Tammy, what I've kind of figured out is mentorship is huge. I know I can't do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. And if I could have done it on my own, I would have been doing it on my own all this time. So I think it's just being real with yourself. For me, I'll say that I have to be real with myself that, hey, I can't do this. I need help. So, and that's in like other areas of life too, not just working out, but just like you have a coach, a lot of people have coach in life. Mm-hmm. So I think the best thing to do, Tammy, which is I'm going to do, is I'm going to get a coach, someone that's going to be hard on me. Right. And hey, if you want to look a certain way.
I know a good one, Jackie. I know an extremely good one. Coach, trainer, manager. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Okay, I got to hear who it is, and we definitely need to talk after this. But I think that's what it is, just getting help. I mean, that's what I'm going to have to do. I know I'm going to have to eat a certain way. I'm going to have to drink a lot more water, because I barely eat any. I know that I have to map out on a daily, this is what time I need to work out to make it fit in the schedule. I think if you want it so bad, but I think having someone that's there, that's a hard one to go for. I mean, it can be difficult. So I think just having an accountability person there and a coach to help you there, I think that's the way to do it. At least that's the way I need to do it, because otherwise I just will procrastinate. Everything else will be, getting in the way. And I think just not letting anything be a distraction and just focusing on how to get there. So I think just getting a coach, bottom line, mentorship and a coach.
Yeah. And I will say this too, Jackie, I know from me, from personal experience, for me, I can tell you that when I am focused on a physical challenge and I'm focused on becoming that person that can run that half marathon, I am more productive and efficient in every other area of my life. It's almost like Dr. Ralph was talking about your nervous system and how chiropractic care kind of, recalibrates and aligns systems. Literally, when I am physically motivated, when I'm working out, when I'm drinking water, eating the right nutrition at the right time, as you said, resting, and managing stress, absolutely am so much more productive and efficient in every other area of life. And I'm so much nicer to people.
It's happy endorphins. Working out gives you happy endorphins. Right. So that's a good thing. And you also feel accomplished too when you are taking care of yourself, because that's when you're taking care of yourself, it makes everything else easier.
Absolutely. How about you, Miss Charlotte?
Well, I'm going to just go along with what you guys said, but there was something I read the other day, if I could find it again real fast here. Napoleon Hill had something, and someone posted this right at the beginning of the year, and I thought, man, this is right on. So let me see if I can find that again real quick. It says, success comes to those who become success conscious. And I think that is pretty much exactly what you guys are talking about. When you become conscious that a change needs to be made, or you want something to happen, then you start looking for the right ways to make that happen. And it always starts with a why. I mean, everything you're saying, if you look at what you're actually talking about is a why. You have a reason for doing it, and then you set a goal to accomplish it. And success comes to those who look for it. So you become success conscious. So I think that's true in anything we do in life.
Thank you so much. Well said.
And Tammy, if you're wanting to start running, the most important part is to show up where you can run at the track or wherever. There's step one. Show up.
I got my membership at the Rexplex already. Woohoo!
Yes. And if your emotions are so high, you want it so bad, just like the way Charlotte's saying it, if you know why you're doing it and the emotional reason of why you're doing it, man, emotions always take over.
Right.
Run, Tammy, run.
How about you, Dr. Ralph? Are you going to join me at the Rexplex?
You know, when I was in the military, I ran quite a bit. And when I got out, I said, I'm not running unless somebody's shooting at me or there was food involved. And so far, I've done a pretty good job of it.
Well, I could carry food. I mean, I can, you know.
I think it's important. I think it's important in goal setting and is knowing where your lane is. And in this particular conversation, I'm going to agree with Steve on this. And I know that sounds a little bit obtuse for a lot of people that I'm going to agree with Steve, but I'm going to say, Tammy, run, girl, run. I'll watch you and support you along the way.
We will be at the finish line cheering.
Yes. Yes, we will.
Yay, run, Tammy, run. Just like Forrest.
Right. Oh, my goodness. That's awesome.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often, with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Unless you're using LifeWave. Since 2004, LifeWave has been delivering its amazing life-enhancing technology to people across the world, always helping the body do what it was designed to do, only better. And as it turns out, the best was yet to come. David Schmidt, our founder, creative force, and world-class inventor behind LifeWave technology, has recently achieved something in the field of regenerative science with a single LifeWave patch that researchers worldwide, spending years and billions of dollars, could not. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells, a true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. The secret? By harnessing the power of LifeWave's patented phototherapy, X39 uses light to elevate a peptide proven to signal the activation of stem cells. Think about it. These are the cells that generate and regenerate all the cells and structures of the human body. They're the building blocks for our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an internal repair system everywhere. But as we age, stem cells become less effective. Their ability to repair damaged tissue is reduced. In fact, by age 60, they've slowed dramatically. But all that changes when just one LifeWave X39 patch is placed anywhere on the body each day. Instead of older and less effective stem cells, X39 supports the production of younger and healthier stem cells. This amazing level of control over your vitality and well-being was simply not possible, let alone this easy, until now. And the best part? Like all LifeWave patches, X39 is safe, non-invasive, and incredibly cost-effective. Look what people are saying about LifeWave X39. Backed by clinical studies, multiple patents, and 20 years of development, any one of these benefits would be impressive. But X39 is so effective, it can influence everything about your body, how you look, feel, perform, and heal. It's time you experience the power of X39. Live long, live well, live younger. Experience the power of LifeWave today.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Wow, it's been a very very informative, encouraging, inspiring conversation. And I do want to maybe just recap for our listeners, maybe if we could help, just inspire them, maybe somebody's never tried goal setting before. I know I read an article in Harvard MBA study that talked about, I'm sure you guys may have heard of this, but they took like 100 students and followed them and throughout their life. I think it was like a 10-year study, and the 3% that wrote their goals down were the most successful out of all of the students that were researched. And so I think maybe if we could just highlight some of the essential elements of goal setting and how we can be effective and moving forward with that. So if you guys want to share that with our listeners.
I'm going to go ahead and say, for me, I think it's that singleness of purpose, understanding, if I want to be, if I'm at point A and I want to be at point B, having that focus and really being laser focused on that. But again, my laser focus is not rigid. It's flexible. I know there's going to be ebbs and flows in that process, but I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm going to respect the process, and I'm going to trust the process. But every day I'm going to get up and put my feet on the floor, be thankful and grateful to God. Thank you for another day. How may I serve you? Understanding that every action that I take gets me closer to my outcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ralph.
Well said, Doc. Well said, Doc. Tammy, if I may just throw this in here before you women jump in again, because I don't want to follow you again.
You see what I did right there, Steve, huh? You see what I did?
My hat's off to you. A brother from another mother with the same barber. You ain't got no hair just like me, but we got to jump in there, Doc, because we have to follow those women. We're in trouble. But Tammy, back to what you said. It's a daily routine. Just if you're going to know where your end in mind is, you got to have a daily routine. Get on it, be consistent, because everything you do has a compounding effect towards what you're doing. If you're doing great things, you're doing good things, you're doing the things with your goal in mind. Like if you want to lose weight and you're eating Chick-fil-A cookies every day, that is not a good thing to help you do what your end in mind is. So it's a compounding effect with that daily routine of consistency, doing the right thing, headed to where you want to be.
Very well said.
Miss Bailey, over to you.
Or I'm actually right beside him, if that's all right. I can just chime in really quick.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I always feel like we're very, very emotional human beings. And here's like a hard conversation for oneself. We pray every day that God will allow us all to live till we're 97. My kids say it, we say it, we all say it. But it's a reality check. Our biggest why in life and how we got to what our why is just being real with ourselves that one day we're all going to be gone. It's not a dark conversation. It's a beautiful conversation because you wake up intentionally living every day like it's your last.
Mm-hmm.
You live every day with no regrets. And so I feel I've had these hard conversations over the years through life experiences. I have gotten to head-on collision with drunk drivers. We've lost our parents, hard conversations, but they're real. And I think, everyone makes decisions in life based on emotions, and then they justify it with the logic.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, if you think, okay, so for us, I look at the age of our parents and I think, okay, mom passed away at this age, Bailey's parents passed away at this age. If we had this much more time to live, and it's hard to think like that, but it's honest, we had this much time to live and it was let's just say the next 25 best years of our life. Where do we see ourselves living at that point? What kind of memories do we want to have with our family, with our children, with all the people we love? What do we want the dash to say the day we're born to the day we're gone? What do we want to be said in the dash? What was the best moments and the best highlights of our life? If it happened in 10 years, if it happened in 5 years, if it happened down to 1 year, that really has designed our why in life. And these are real hard conversations Steve and I have had. And we have this conversation every year, especially at this time of the year. So we really try to live the best life and help others do the same thing. So the moment you really understand like your life, there is going to be a time that we're all gone. You got to really look at what do you want to do until then? What do you want to feel that there are no regrets? So really setting the goals, that's helped design our goals and emotionally given us so much passion for those goals. Again, all branches, your finances, health, and relationships and everything. If it was your last day, would you look back and say, wow, what an amazing time we had? Or wow, I wish I would have done a lot more or spent more time with the people that I love. So that really helps out. That is a big deal for setting goals, is just knowing why you're doing it. And if you didn't have a chance to do it, what is it that you don't want to live without?
That was beautifully said, Jackie. Thank you so much.
I would certainly agree with exactly what everybody has said here, because I think your goals have to be in harmony with you. And if you're not in harmony with your goals, they're certainly not going to work with you. The goal is not a final destination. It's not like you're throwing a dart on the map and says, here's the end. A goal is the journey. And every year we start the journey over again. And we get to add to it. We get to take away from it. We get to change it based on that harmony that Jackie was talking about. Harmony with your life, harmony with your family, where you are. And, kind of being the oldest one of the bunch here, I can tell you, memories are so important, because without them, as you get older, that's what keeps us alive. That's what we look back and reflect on. That's what we enjoy. And all of those moments, you never get them back. So keep your goals in harmony with life, because the moment you have right now is not to be repeated. You guys have been so great to impart your wisdom and have given me some new ideas that I need to think about. So thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. This has been probably one of the best Branson View podcast episodes I believe that we've had thus far.
You've been listening to The Branson View, a weekly podcast dedicated to sharing stories about real life and business from America's heartland. Thank you for joining us today. For more information about our sponsors and how to connect to us online, go to www.thebransonview.com. This episode of the Branson View podcast has been sponsored by an independent LifeWave distributor.
Statements on LifeWave products on this podcast, website, or associated materials have not been evaluated by any regulatory authority. LifeWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Always consult with a physician or other qualified healthcare provider before embarking on a new treatment, product use, diet, or fitness program.